Well, hello there. We are on the ground in Vancouver, and we're fixing to start our taxi to runway 8 left for departure to Minneapolis. So we'll get this thing underway here shortly. And we got everything started. The taxi lights are on. I have an overlay on the map here that I need to move down, I think, huh? So we see where we're headed. And this should get us on the roll here. So away we go. And same as before, I'll probably stop the recording at about 15 minutes into the flight. Notice the traffic patterns out of Toronto, out of Vancouver is, if you're taking off to the east, which is what we're going to be doing, they've been doing a 180-degree turn to the west on their initial climb to get out over the water instead of the city. I think it's a noise abatement situation. That to get out over the city to eliminate any noise from the aircraft, and then turn back west once they get up to altitude, which is what I probably think we will do as well. I can get this guy moved here. There, we're starting to move a little bit. And let's go to the outside. It's the 3D view. That'll help us a little bit. Whoa! We got plenty of speed build up now, I guess, don't we? We're going over to taxiway M, which will take us down to the end of the runway for our departure. This is actually it's night here, but it's takeoff time is 6:30 in the morning. So as the flight progresses, we will be flying into sunlight. I think I must have a flat tire. Hold on here. Let's fix things here. Aircraft. Reset everything to operation. Now let's see if it works any better. There we go. I think the brakes have got released now. And it should be okay now. Oh. Winds they show were at 100 degrees, gusting to 17 knots. So we'll see what happens on the takeoff. Autopilot, FMS is on. We'll be kicking on the auto throttle in a minute. Okay, we're announced our departure, so we should be good to go now. Turn on the landing lights as we get on the runway. Landing lights are on, everything is ready to go here. And as we turn heading down the runway, we'll turn on the auto throttle and away we go. $80 knots, 90 knots, 100 knots, 110 knots. And gear is up. Going the flaps back. And we'll be turning back around the opposite direction now. Get our climb made. More flaps coming back. Flying over the city of Vancouver now. The few clouds it looks like above us. It looks like the sunrise above the clouds. You see our beacon reflection in the clouds when we go through the clouds. Airport should be down here someplace, huh? There it is. You can see where we took off from and where we're headed. And we're on our way to our first waypoint. And as you can see, that's the Vancouver Airport underneath us. And we're turning off the recording now as we're approaching 8,500 to our initial waypoint. A segment of this, I think. This is the Northern Lights shining down now to our north, actually, to the left of the aircraft. Northern Lights, of course, are produced by electrons entering the atmosphere at the magnetic poles of the Earth and create very pretty colors and curtains as they come down. So this gives you an idea of the Northern Lights that have sparked up tonight. These are generated in X-plane. You can program it to give these little things like this to show a little more to the flight. So I do have the program. As you can see, X-plane does a pretty good job of duplicating the effect of the Northern Lights. So I'll just keep those on in the recording mode for a couple minutes so you can see them as they dance around the sky to our north, just as the sun's going to be rising pretty soon. Back to the rising sun. I'm going to turn off the recording now. If something appears and looks like it might be worth turning on, I will turn a few minutes of the flight. And we're about 3 miles from Bainey. I'll go ahead and announce our arrival crossing. Let me find my mouse here. And we'll be set to announce turning on final. At this point, I'm going to go to the 3D mode. Try to maintain everything in the 3D mode from here to the landing point. Turn off the Minneapolis VOR and turn on the localizer beacon. So when we intercept it, I'll be able to hear it. And we're now crossing Luck at 11,000, or Lucy rather. And I'll start our rate, change our speed to 250. That'll get us down ready for the rest of the reductions as we go into Minneapolis. After this crossing, we will be crossing, we'll descend to 8,750, then 8,000, 7,543, and so on. Starting down now to 8,8750. And landing lights go on at 10,000 feet. Ten thousand feet, landing lights are on. I'm going to reduce now to 230 knots. Within about 5 degrees of flap. And that should be Minneapolis ahead of us. It's the total urban area of Minneapolis. That's not downtown city yet, but it should be appearing ahead of us in a few moments. And descend us now to 210 knots. Get a little more flap in here. As we turn now to make the sequence for the arrival on the runway, to capture the runway localizer and so forth. And we're picking up the localizer now. And we should, in a couple minutes, have it coordinated itself to where we're heading in the right direction. Now we're descending to 5,000 feet. slow us to 180 knots now. And a little more flap. And we'll maintain 180 knots until we reach the glide slope. We'll cross in on the glide slope, which shouldn't be too much longer here. Now we shifted to the off of the GPS mode onto the nav mode, which will now get us into the runway. I've turned the heading so we're heading on the by heading rather than by the VOR portion now. And as we intercept the ILS beacon, it'll turn us inbound to the runway, which is 12 left. We're dropping down to 4,000 feet. Then we'll go down to 3,000 feet, and you can't see it just yet, but upper left corner of the front screen, I see an aircraft at the airport. See the airport appearing just ahead of heading to our left. And so we should be, I can see the airport now just passing into the left-hand screen. I can see the runway we're going to be landing on. So we're right on track right here. And now we're turning inbound to the field. I forgot to hit the buttons, and so we're turning in a little bit late. But we should be okay. It's going to turn us back and pick up that left runway. You should be able to see some air traffic on the right side of the airport. But this will be picking us up now onto the glide slope. And we're getting on we're approaching the glide slope now. And we're going to start our slowing down to 170 now. Showing a minimum landing speed of 128, so we'll probably land at about 140 knots. Backs are on. Landing gears going down. Going down another 10 knots. About 160 knots. We should be able to see the airport ahead of us now fairly clearly. See the red and green blinking lights of traffic that's parked, other simulators that are getting ready to depart. We should be getting the 1,000-foot mark in about a minute. So I can back up, put my feet on the rudder pedals, and get ready to get us in.
1,000.
Okay, cutting the auto throttle at this point. And I'm now controlling the speed of the aircraft. 151 knots still. Right on the glide slope. Everything looking pretty good. We got wheels, we got landing lights, full flaps. We should be good to go. 148 knots. And we're parking at Charlie 15. So we'll be parking at a terminal fairly close to our land.
500.
And now killing the autopilot.
400.
I now have control of the aircraft.
300. 200. 200.
Slowing to 140 knots.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Cutting the power at 10 knots. We're at 10 feet. Reverse thrust is on. 90 knots. 60 knots. We pull off the reverse thrust, apply the brakes, and we will exit the runway. Pull back the flaps and the spoilers. Now all we have to do is just try to find our gate, which should be right here almost in front of us. Let's see where it's at. It should be this first one. It's set back from the rest of the gates. Let's see. Here, let's see. Okay, there is. Okay, it should be this gate right over here. So let's go back here and see what we can do. Should be that gate right there. So that's the one we're going to head to. Landing lights are off. Pitot heat is off. Taxi lights are off. And we are parked in place. Parking brake is on. Next thing we'll do is, I hope I didn't lose everything. think I lost everything on that. So we'll stop streaming. I pushed a button I shouldn't have, it looks like. Sure did. Had an error come up. Well, we'll have to figure